10 years ago, we started the business. Talk a little bit about how we got started.
So much more difficult than I ever thought of. And I think that that's one lesson, right? Is I think people tend to glorify entrepreneurship. People make it look so easy and, fake it till you make it. But it's much, much more difficult than people believe it is.
I feel like it was like a hustle beyond that hustle of just like figuring shit out, right? We're still having to figure some stuff out. Like the whole AI thing is like a total pivot.
Yeah.
But I think we've already pivoted hard on that because of what we saw happen in COVID.
Being an entrepreneur is a very lonely track, right? Because so few people do it.
And I think some people are scared of these tech and tools, like it's going to replace people. But really what we're trying to make it do is empower people.
When I wake up in the morning, Thursday morning, as soon as my feet hit the ground, the only thing that goes through my head is, oh shit, it's already Thursday.
In business, it's not supposed to feel comfortable all the time. Like the shit is supposed to hurt. Dan, obviously, I know you pretty good. I've known you for like 13 years. You're my business partner, but the audience doesn't know you at all. So what do you do, man?
Yeah, I've been in marketing for years, but I co-own Drive Creative Agency.
What does Drive do?
Drive's a marketing agency. We help lead generation. We help brands grow.
What kind of customers does Drive work with?
Small to small mid-size brands that have a huge appetite for growth, right? So, 5 million to 50 million in annual revenue. That's they just kind of want to take over their world, right? Their section is that's kind of the way that we live, like to self-identify and we have the same.
100%, yeah, man. What do you do at Drive?
Well, we're still a small agency, so kind of everything. But I'm more on the business and operational side. It's just, I just like it. I mean, not that I don't like the creative aspect of what we do. I actually love it. But I also love the strategy behind helping us grow and helping us acclimate to new environments.
You said small. How many full-time employees is the company?
Besides myself and you, I think what are we 8 or 9 right now?
8, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So but it's a good, strong team. With good process, good systems. You can do a lot of damage with a small team.
Do you want to share what's our strategy on how big do we want the team to get?
Sure. Originally we wanted to, a traditional agency model, right? We wanted to be, 10, $15 million in annual revenue and 25, 30 employees and completely scalable and all that kind of stuff. And over the last couple of years, with just advances in tech and AI and all that kind of stuff. And that's a byproduct. But if you have really good, well thought out systems, it's more about making each person on your team an operator of systems rather than, the doer of everything, right? And so with that ideology, we've kind of rethought our entire strategy. It's much more about not helping less people, but giving each person on your team a much larger potential impact, right? So instead of one person doing one job or one person doing a very specific job one time, it's about creating systems and having that person be an orchestrator of those systems that can really move mountains one position.
Just give me an example of what that looks like from let's say website development, right? From a development seat, hey, we have a developer.
Yep.
So if the original model was senior developer and let's say 4 devs underneath them, what does that new model look like to you?
Yeah, great question. So what that looks like to me is more that lead developer, right? Again, it's about us helping that person to build systems, right? To build, a lot of it is AI, but a lot of it is automation itself. And to have that lead developer create their own ecosystem for development. And instead of building one website at a time, they manage systems where they can manage and build, a multitude of websites.
So training agents.
Yep.
So instead of hiring and having a really high cost and 4 other developers underneath, you're saying, hey, create systems, then train agents under this developer, which I think that's similar to if you look at Claude and stuff, their marketing team's one person, dude.
Yep.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously these companies are leaning into that too, but kind of at a smaller scale, you're looking at it the same way. It's like, hey, we don't need to have a real heavy team. We have our core team. We have a good culture. We love the people that work for us, right? We want to keep growing with them. But our future hires, you're saying, are more, we're in the mindset more of like, hey, how do we get through this ceiling? And it's by developing better processes and then leaning into tech for leverage.
Yeah, I would agree, right? But you always need to have, at least, you still need to have human eyes, right? So that lead developer, right? Sure, you create systems that help them build and build and build, and then, which is awesome. It's terrific. I mean, it's a perfect allocation of resource. But you still need human eyes and hands to make sure that systems are operating.
Accountability. Yeah.
Yep. The accountability of the human eyes to be able to review and tweak and make any adjustments to the final product to make sure that, it carries the agency. It's same thing, on the design sides, whether you're writing copy, all of it, still need human interaction to make sure that it's meeting the standards.
Yeah. And I think some people are scared of this tech and tools, like it's going to replace people, but really what we're trying to make it do is empower people, right? So instead of a project manager looking at a list of 87 tasks they have to get done this day, they're leaning on tech to get the administrative stuff done, but then they can reallocate their load to be more focused on the accountability of making sure that, hey, the team has everything they need, timelines are hit, budgets are good, customers happy, right?
Exactly, right. I guess I'd take it one step further, right? It also gives that individual the ability to grow and kind of almost recreate their own, not even position, right? But their own structure within the organization. Because with time freed up, like take a project manager right? If you can automate the vast majority of the simple things that they do, right? And I'm talking about simple, like onboarding documents and, filling out, projects in our project management software, whatever it is, right? Just the more administrative tasks that frees that person up so much more. And then they can go so much deeper into helping the rest of the team or, their, other initiatives, want to utilize them or just things that they're passionate about that they think add more, client and the end results that we drive.
I think a lot of a question that I had, and the question that I'm sure a lot of business owners have had or are having is like, okay, cool, all this tech exists. How do I implement this into my company? Like, hey, which tech do I use? How do I do it? Like, how do we get started? How do we, like, where do we go? Right? Do you have any advice on that, or like, hey, what's a good way to get started on this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're right. It's messy, right? It's messy for everybody, right? But the first thing is it's about taking your first step, right? It's baby steps, right? To understand your first, the first level is just understanding what the tech is and how to utilize it, right? Most people are still using Claude and GPT like Google, right? Which is cool. I mean, it helps, but that won't help you make the meaningful impact that you're trying to make, right? And for me, what I try to look at everything is you have to fully understand the problem that you're trying to solve first and foremost. Like you should never walk in and say, hey, how can we make money with, Chat GPT or Perplexity or whatever it might be? It's so much more about, hey, listen, we understand what we're great at, right? And what we're not great at. And, how can we leverage this technology to help make our systems bigger, better, stronger, faster, so we can be more effective, more efficient for our clients. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you said it best. It's the hardest thing to do is just to get started. Right?
That's it. And for me, and I know it sounds, sounds obvious, but YouTube has been like my best friend for learning, everything that
100%.
I know, right?
Yep.
YouTube and just time, right? Let yourself rabbit hole as deep as you want. Yeah.
Well, and then as an organization, right? Like structuring that time for your team.
For sure. You have to.
So if you have the idea that we've had lately, right, is like what we're doing is AI Thursdays, right? So sitting down with the team at like 2:30, spending 30 minutes to an hour sharing, every other week, hey, this is how I've been using AI to make an impact on my workflows, processes, getting more leverage, awesome results. Because that's part of it too, right? Like we still need that human quality. Like it still needs to work.
Yeah.
Like these tools aren't perfect, but it needs to work, right? and then figuring that out and then empowering the team the rest of that day to be like, all right, now go nerd out, dude. You know what I mean? But like, that's a cost for the business, but it's an investment, right? Because we have to pay, business owners have to pay to get, it's just like training an employee, right? I think that's where like a lot of people get like screwed up with this AI thing. It's like they use it like, oh, it's frustrating, it doesn't work. Like if I followed this Claude Facebook page, I showed it to you, and like everyone's like freaking out. They're like, oh, Claude doesn't work. It's not working. It's like, yeah, man, these tools are still relatively new, but you have to train the tools. Right. Just like you have to train an employee. You can't just, unless you have the most well-oiled machine in the world, you can't just throw an employee into an environment with no playbook, no onboarding, and expect them to be an all-star, right? Right. So I think it's the same thing with this stuff too.
Yeah, it's challenging at times. I mean, I agree that I really like that we have dedicated times where we give our team the ability to show off a little bit, right? Not for personal adulation, much more, oh my gosh, look what I built, look what it can do. Like this could help us all, right? And then what I really like about that is it's very inspiring to everyone else on the team, because they're like, again, if one person builds one thing and then another person might look at it and be like, wow, that's really cool the way you built that for you. But I wonder if that would work with this other thing that I'm working on in a different role. Oh my gosh, it would. And then all of a sudden it just kind of snowballs, right? But you also have to be measured, right? Because, it's difficult with how fast the technology changes, right? And it's like nothing we've ever seen before. But it's challenging for companies to, create an AI strategy, right? With the domino effect of how fast the tech changes, right? You might make a perfect sound theory January 1 about this is our strategy for 2026, and by May, like that strategy's gone. It's out the window because 20 other.
Yeah, I think it's what we're basically saying is like, don't get married to the specific tech. It's more of a mindset thing. It's more of a
mindset,
how we operate type of thing, right? And then having like I think that's part of the idea in the AI Thursdays, right? Is you're actually empowering the team to explore new tech.
100%.
Right? Hey, what's out there? What's going on? So then it's proactive. It's like we're not waiting to hear about the new thing. We're on the forefront of hunting for the new thing that we can utilize for ourselves and for our clients, right?
Exactly, right. And to me, there's really three different ways, the way that I see it, right? It was in a great book, AI Leadership. Can't think of the author, Jeff.
I've read it too, I think.
Yeah. But he put it very succinctly as there's three different ways, three different mindsets, right? There's the first way is to utilize tech for, on your front lines, right? Your everyday workers to be building and utilizing it to help make their own jobs easy, right? And that has dramatic effect, which is awesome, right? And the second is people like myself and you, right? Using it organizationally to clean up and streamline workflows and processes to make it a whole lot easier for your team to move mountains, right? Take away a lot of the admin, take away a lot just the mundane stuff that no one really wants. And then the third and final is much more, in some cases it might be creating new service offerings to clients through AI, but more often it's what are we delivering that AI can enhance and make stronger.
Exactly. Yep.
So you can bring more benefit.
Yeah, not just save money. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, enhance and make stronger for sure. Right. I agree. So going back to starting Drive a little bit too, right? So 10 years ago, we started the business. Talk a little bit about how we got started.
Sure.
Take it way back.
Yeah. Life without challenges, right? So you and I had left the agency that we were at. Wasn't a terrible place or anything. It's we just wanted.
What was that? Remember the conversation? You're like, hey, you want to start an agency? Yeah, and I was like, yeah. And you're like, how much do you want? I'm like, well, let's go 50-50. You're like, really? And I was like, yeah, dude. that was it.
Yeah, because it came to because I had been thinking about it, and then I asked you. I said, hey, do you want to go out to dinner? I've got a really stupid idea, right? And we talked about it for not long, really. Talked about it for maybe a month, and we decided to strike out on our own, right? So much more difficult than I ever thought it would, right? And I think that that's one lesson, right? Is I think people tend to glorify entrepreneurship, right? And people make it look so easy, and fake it till you make it, and all that kind of stuff. And cool, everyone's got their own interpretation, right? But it's much, much, much more difficult than people believe it is, right? And that's okay. I'm not complaining at all.
Elaborate on that a little bit. It's like what, like the difficulty, right? Because
Sure.
there's obviously like the mental, like hang on, like let's hang on to our seats. Like this is gonna get weird, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to have that grind in you, but like, what else are the difficulties?
Yeah, there's so many things. There's so many things to be to being a small business owner, entrepreneur that I ever thought there would be, right? And I struggled. Well, I think we both did, right? When we first struck out on our own, like the first, I mean, just like any startup, like the first year or two is eating a lot of cat food, right? It's just like whatever, right? And you just try to brute force through everything, right? And then we finally started to get some lift, right? So we got our first manufacturing client, right? And we didn't, I mean, when we set out, we really wanted to make an impact on others, a much larger impact. Where the agency we worked at before, we more built widgets, right? So hey, here's your website. Good luck, right? I hope it works out for you, right? And we wanted to have a much stronger impact and much more of a lasting relationship, and that's why we started Drive. But we didn't set out to go to be in the manufacturing space. We found our first manufacturing client, then our second, and our third, and
it's like super underserved, right?
Yeah, it's super underserved.
Had budget, let us do our job.
Exactly. I mean, manufacturing, it's not the sexiest thing in the world. It's not the king of the world, but like arguably they need the most help, period, because I mean they're completely neglected, right? And so we started on that path, and we started to get some rise, right? We got some larger clients.
Yeah, I mean, we got Tower, public company. That was like a huge feather at the time. They're sold now, but
they were $2 billion in annual revenue. We'd landed Siemens, all this kind of stuff. But still, most of our clients were, on the smaller side, at 20 million.
Yeah, local manufacturing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're outside Detroit, right? But I love the work that we were doing. But then COVID hit, right? And everyone got hurt in COVID, right? But manufacturing just got decimated.
I think,
right?
But that's like one of the, like when we're talking about lessons, like that's a lesson.
A monster lesson.
Right.
Like, probably the largest lesson.
Like, it's not like if shit happens, it's like when shit happens, how are you going to pivot? Right. Because we didn't pivot very well, honestly. Like we just kind of, again, hung on, you know what I mean? And that's not, hope is not a good strategy, right? Like,
this doesn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Right. So, when COVID hit, we lost, oh my gosh, we lost most of our business, right? And that's okay. I mean, everyone else did too. I'm not crying. But coming out of COVID, we were very lucky and fortunate that we came out of COVID still intact. And but you and I both knew that we had to do things, right? That like we had, but relying solely on manufacturing is a great space when the economy is good and automotive is booming and all that stuff, but it's not. It's really bad, right? So you and I wanted to, we decided to pivot, right? We decided to diversify a bit, go after different markets, and that's what, right? And I think that we found there's nothing wrong with manufacturing, and we still have a few clients in manufacturing. That's awesome, but I think that we pivoted more towards people that were psychographically driven, driving down the same street that we are, right? That are small, that want to again take over the.
Let's say they're not too small. It's like medium, but I think I'm not going to cut you off. Sorry, but like the main thing is like focusing on markets that really need ongoing marketing support, right? Yep. That was one of the issues with manufacturing. Not even an issue, but it doesn't. We still have manufacturing clients, but the way that we serve them in that market is different than, let's say, legal, right?
100%.
Like personal injury law firm.
Yep.
They need cases.
Right.
We can help them make cases.
Yep.
Right. Staffing company.
Yeah.
And whatever. They need ongoing
100%, right? And
lead generation.
And the challenge that we had with manufacturing is, again, we still have, some manufacturing clients today, but lead generation for manufacturing is very challenging, right? And I mean, a huge portion of it.
The sales cycle is super long, right?
Exactly, right? So you might have a sales cycle of a year and a half. And so, it's a tough ask for us, like, hey, yeah, we can do lead generation for you. You're going to pay us, $10,000 a month, $20,000, whatever it is, run ads, right? to run campaigns and do brand work and all this cool stuff, all the Harry Potter stuff, right? But to generate leads, but knowing full well those leads might not come to fruition for another year.
Just depends on the manufacturer. Like
100%.
Like we have the new client that we have, Wolverine Flexo. Shout out Carl.
Yeah.
Perfect for us, right? He has a huge customer list, giant. They have presses all over the country, right? Those companies are not being marketed to and contacted to about service and parts. We have the data, we have the know-how. We can bridge that gap in an amazing way and bring a lot of low-hanging fruit to them because they have so many presses all over the place. What is not
and they have an existing client list that you can remarket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it just depends. It depends where a company's at in their maturity level, how long they've been around,
100%.
all that kind of stuff. But so coming out of COVID, besides making that, obviously we made the decision, hey, we're not going to niche out our brand in manufacturing. We're going to diversify. We're going to go after customers that are more suited to our superpowers and the things that we can do really well for them, right?
Yep.
Get them attention, get them companies that really need customers, right? In addition to that, what do you think are some things that we did that really helped?
Sure.
Because we grew a lot after COVID. I mean, we grew a lot. Like,
we've been very fortunate last 2 or 3 years, right? And I'm so glad that I can say that, right? But some of the other things, right? So we also chose to take a look at the totality of services that we offered, right? We decided to really re-examine everything that we offered because I think that at the time we're a boutique agency, which we still are, but we were trying to be as full as possible. And I think that ended up hurting us to some extent, right? So we sliced off some of the things that we did, right? It just didn't, they were ancillary to the things that we do now, but they were more abstract, right? And instead, Jim Collins, good to great, we really wanted to just focus on the 2 things that we could be phenomenal at, right? And, and that's not self-adulation. We had made the decision that we just wanted to be terrific branding at web delivery and at lead generation, right? So SEO and all these other things, we just decided not to, keep them, right? So that was one pivot. Now another pivot was, again, diversifying portfolio, going after different verticals, mindsets, psychographic alignment with more of who we are. Which has been really healthy and helpful to us and our clients. But then also, the third thing is that we decided to move to more of a MRR model, monthly recurring revenue, right? Gave us more stability, so we could really we could spend a lot more time drilling down and figuring out better ways to help our clients rather than running out and trying to get sales all the time, if that makes sense.
Let's talk about EOS. That's what I was trying to lead towards a little bit. So I think EOS has changed our business in an insane way.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think a lot of those decisions that we made actually spawned from those conversations with Dave Feidner, right? And then you and I being forced to get on the same page.
Yeah, it wasn't that simple though.
Well, I'm saying though, but I feel like there was a lot of at a partnership level, because it was basically just me, you, and Steve for a while, and then we added in Holly, and then there was this insane tension between you and I, right?
Oh, yeah.
We can talk. It's dude, I've known you forever. You stood at my wedding,
sure.
We're like homies, right?
Right?
But a lot of tension there, and I feel like once we started doing EOS, which you can talk about a little bit more if you want to, and educate the audience on what that is. I know a lot of them will probably know what it is. But once we started getting into EOS and actually putting together a vision, because before we didn't really have any roles, dude.
Well, we
literally ran
we were
doing good work, but the way we were running the business was
fumbling like most small businesses, right? Just trying to grind out, hey, we'll just work harder every day, no matter what. Oh,
yeah, and this just doesn't
20 hour
work.
Sunday, sure, right?
Because you have a life, right?
Right, and we finally got to a point. Number one, huge shout out to Dave Feidner, right? Also Mike Gurley, right? For the true indoctrination into EOS, and Dave has donated so much time and energy into us, right? And it's been phenomenal, right? Early on, you and I had discussed EOS, and we wanted to self-implement, and we tried it for 3 or 4 months and everything. And we just kind of got to a point where like, you didn't like it. I didn't like it.
I didn't get it.
Yeah. We just didn't get it. Right. And we were like, wow, this is stupid. And then we threw it away and then went back to, cool, let's work. Let's just keep on working 20 hours a day forever. And then we'll eventually either we'll survive or die. Literally. Right. But 4 or 5 months later, whatever it was, I came to you and I just said, hey, listen, like, we can't run like this anymore. It drive me nuts. So you would ask me, all right, what do you want to do? And I said, well, listen, we need some kind of system. EOS is super simple, right? It's entrepreneur operating system for the audience that might not. But about 70,000 businesses run on it globally, and it was started by Gino Wickman out of Birmingham, which is awesome. But anyway, we sat down. We said, okay, we need a system to run on. This seems really simple. Let's really start. Let's make a real attempt, right? And I don't think that we understood what a real attempt was at that time, but that's what we did, right? We really started to engage and put a lot more energy in, right? And that was probably 3 years ago. And no doubt it's the coincidence are pretty.
It's been all of our growth. Every hire we've made has been in the last 3 years.
Without a doubt. And I'm not saying that, we've done a lot of hard work over the last 3 years.
Obviously, yeah.
But the EOS has been instrumental.
It's just EOS is just a system. That's what I'm saying. So like,
absolutely.
Unless you went to Harvard, like I didn't go to college, right? I know you did, but we started Drive. We didn't have a system to follow. There's no owner's manual.
Yep. And that's
just figure it out.
No, but that's a huge lesson right there.
That's what I'm saying.
What people don't understand. There is like when you start your entrepreneurship track, right? There's no playbook. And that sounds really enlightening to people that have never done it. But it's terrible, right? Because there is no playbook. You just have to.
You also don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Like, you don't even know that there's supposed to be a playbook when you get started.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? You don't even know that there should be a system. Yeah. That's the thing. So it's like very like.
Yeah.
At least I didn't. I don't think you did either, right?
But
I think there's so many operating systems, right? We're just talking about EOS because it's the one that we utilize. But I think what it did is it added a ton of structure.
Yeah.
And clarity,
accountability, focus, right? We didn't have a 1 year plan, much less a 5 year, much less a 10-year plan. And like, again, if you don't have goals that you're driving toward, like you're just rowing in a boat on one side of the boat, going in circles, right?
So I think a lot of getting started in a business still is brute force and just hustle and grind. Yeah. And I'm not saying if you're starting a business today, you necessarily need to do I think doing a full EOS implementation would be completely overkill. But even starting with like the VTO.
Oh, gotcha.
Like imagine if we started our company and we just had the VTO.
Yep.
Vision, Traction, Organizer. Yep. And we could have wrote down like, these are our core values.
Yep.
This is our mission. This is our niche. This is who we go after. Here's our 1 year goal. Like even having that, like we didn't even have that, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I think that you said it terrifically about maybe 2 years ago. Right. So we've been doing this for 10 years. Right. And it's, and I love the phrase, it only takes 9 years to become an overnight success, right? It breathes so much life into the entrepreneurial journey. But you said at one time, and it really holds weight, is that once we came out of COVID, we made a lot of pivot changes. We really bought into EOS. And I also joined EO, Entrepreneurship Organization, Detroit chapter, right? We made so many positive changes that like you said at one time that was kind of just like a factory reset for us that, okay, hey, listen, we spent like 7 years just trying to just run through so much. And don't get me wrong, 3 years of COVID, all that kind of stuff is very messy, but we learned what we needed to learn to really kind of start our business 3 years ago.
Yeah. I feel like we reset, you know what I mean? Like I literally we've been in business 10 years, but it feels like something changed 3 years ago.
We didn't learn fast enough.
I feel like it was like a hustle. It was like a hustle beyond the hustle. It was like a hustle. No, but seriously, like now we're like beyond that hustle of just like figuring shit out. Right. We're still having to figure some stuff out. Like we're still like the whole AI thing is like a total pivot.
Yeah.
But I think we're pivoting. We've already pivoted hard on that because of what we saw happen in COVID.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So all these lessons that you learn in business that like somebody can tell you this stuff too if you've never done it, and it kind of goes in one year out the other. Yeah. But then once you've experienced it and somebody talks about it, you're like, I get it. I can relate. You know what I mean?
Well, that's actually a great point. I'm going to lead it back to EO if you don't mind.
Yeah, for
sure. One thing about the entrepreneurial journey is that like this is what like so many people just don't understand, right? You can't understand. Is being an entrepreneur is a very lonely track, right? Because so few people do it, and like, Corey, I'm sure that you have friends that are 9 to 5, right? And like
I don't talk to those type of people.
I know, right?
I'm just kidding.
No, but it's completely different when you surround yourself with other small business owners, right? And I know that I've told you the story. I'll make it fast, but I have, one of my really close friends.
So we had all the time in the world.
I know, right? But one of my really close friends is a great human being, and but he works for the Royal Oak Police Department, right? Our kids grew up together, like we're all just good friends, right? And he asked me one time. He said, and I was in the military, and then I went straight from the military into police, and I've been police my entire career, right? And he's getting ready to retire. Go Pat. And he asked me one day. He said, I've been a 9 to 5 guy my whole life. What's the biggest difference between me being a 9 to 5 guy and you being, an entrepreneur? I mean, number one, the enormity of that question, I can't even describe, but I was just kind of dumbfounded by the question, right? Not that it's a bad question, right? But I was just wrapping my head around it. And the first thing that came to my mind was Thursday, right? And he looked at me with a real puzzled look. And I said, Thursday is the difference, right? He said, what do you mean? I said, okay, we live really close to each other. And I said, every morning you drive into work, right? At 5 a.m. or whichever, because he's crazy. But you've got like a 24 minute drive into work. And on Thursday morning, I know you. And all you can think of is, oh God, it's only Thursday, right? Because you just want to get to the weekend. You just want to, and it's cool, right? In sharp contrast, I just told him, I said, when I wake up in the morning, Thursday morning, any morning, really, but as soon as my feet hit the ground, the only thing that goes through my head is, oh shit, it's already Thursday, right? And for most entrepreneurs, like I say that to other entrepreneurs, or I've told that story a couple of times to other entrepreneurs, and they're like, they instantly get it, right? But when you're talking to people that aren't entrepreneurs, it's much harder to understand, right? So one thing has helped me personally, and I know that and Gray, our journey has been symbiotic for the last, 10, 12 years. But what's helped me personally is surrounding myself with other small business owners and entrepreneurs. And that's why I put a lot of energy into EO Detroit. Again, shout out, love it. And the people that I've met there, because, we're all entrepreneurs and we all, can share not only stories, but if they're one of the few people, organizations that I know that truly root through good and bad, right?
It's commonality too, right? It's passion.
Yeah.
If you're an entrepreneur without passion who doesn't give a shit about their business,
and then you just created a job for yourself.
Probably, yeah. Right? And so it's but if you're truly passionate about building, seeing things through, having a vision, going after it, helping other people in your organization grow, then it's it really does turn into more of a game. You know what I mean? Sure. Which is sick. Yeah. Very cool. Well, cool, man. I guess in addition to Thursdays, right? So what other gifts are there in being a business owner?
Oh gosh,
being an entrepreneur. What are some things, and this is on the spot, but that's what this whole thing's about, right? Mm-hmm. What are some things you've gained? Because you used to have a 9 to 5 job, dude.
Oh yeah.
You worked at Daimler Chrysler.
Oh yeah.
You drove an hour to work every day and sat in a cube.
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago or whatever, right?
I do not recommend 1 star.
But some people like that. We need those too, right?
For sure.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But that isn't what you wanted to do. So what are some of the things that you've gained?
Oh, it's a trade-off, right? You always have losses and gains your whole life, right? So I wish that I would have found this track earlier in life. I really do. some of the gains, it's not, again, it's not, taking your Learjet to, the Bahamas whenever you want, because that's, another fallacy that, a lot of people have about small business owners stuff. Yeah. Do we get to, go on ski trips with, my kids more often? Sure. Right. That's cool. But it's also a lot of 20-hour Sunday and no bitching. No one cares. Right. Because it's, and nor should they. Right. But the freedom to make your own decisions and to make your own decisions and have just eminent domain over carving your own path, right? Whatever that path is to you, right? So to grow huge, this, that, and the other thing, or to grow, to be, $2 million in annual revenue, and then just have it super simple to run. So you lead the life you want to lead. Terrific, right? Whatever, that's the coolest thing about the journey is that you get to design your own system, right? Some people can't sit, right? They always have to go. Or some people are serial entrepreneurs. Like they start, they build, they sell, right? Or, whatever your thing is. It can be anything that you want. It's like, that's probably, at the tip of the spear, that's the most about it is you can pivot, you can change, you can sell, you can buy, you can do whatever you want. It just works, right? But then if it doesn't work, then cool, you figure it out.
So,
right?
So if Drive was set up in a way where, let's say, your role, like you found someone, hey, your role's replaced. You're no longer, because we both help with operations of the business. We're working in the company and on the company, right? So if that was replaced, where do you feel like you would spend more of your time?
Oh, that's a huge question. Tell you what, I'm not sure, right? I truly love what we do, right? In my heart of hearts, right? But I also love building our team, and I think that one day, the team basically runs most of it anyway, right? Which is awesome. That's by design, right? We want all of them to take our jobs, right? But I think that I would spend more time traveling, right? More time with my family. I do a lot of adventure travel.
You've done some sick travel.
Yeah.
That's all recent too, last 5 years. You just started turning into a travel junkie a little bit.
Yeah. And a lot of people,
adventure travel, a
lot of people think it's adrenaline, but it has nothing to do with that, right? I started, I've got a small travel group of, 5 of us that we take these trips together, right? It started off as whitewater rafting and then hiking through the Smoky set and everything. But then, just over the last 6, 7, 8, years, we've just kind of expanded, right? So, we try to do one large trip every year, and then a couple small trips. Next weekend we're hiking 4 days on, right?
It's next weekend.
Next weekend.
Okay.
I'll be out of the office part of Friday and Monday. Sorry, but last year we did I think 12 days in Iceland, which was pretty amazing. I got to bring my 16-year-old son. This is his first big trip. In 24, we summited to Mount Everest Base Camp, which is pretty cool. Hard.
That was you came back, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah, I was 20 something.
I remember you calling me, and you're like, I'm like, what's wrong with you? You're like, it's just how it is up here.
Yeah, it was.
What does travel do for you, man? That's big time investments, money investments. It's an investment, right? And obviously, it's not really I my vacations. I go to New York. I just got back from New York. What did I do? Nothing. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. Shopped and hung out.
See, but that's a wonderful thing, right? We're all built different, right? So my wife, she absolutely loves just, give me a nice beach, give me, whichever. And I too, for about 2 days, right? I get
that part of it, right? For sure.
But, she doesn't have the adventure travel, right? Which is totally cool. Right. But what's even cooler is she's okay with me.
My wife doesn't either. She won't even go camping.
I know, right? But what it does for me, and this is one of the biggest things, right? Is, you and I both run pretty hard, right? And rarely do either one of us take time off. But when I do, I like to do something that's challenging, right? Again, it's not about, to me, it's never been about adrenaline or any of that kind of thing, right? I do these kinds of trips because it teaches me more about who I am, right? And it's hard. It's more about the thinking and the clarity and the perspective.
Well, let's add some context to that.
Cool.
So you're deathly afraid of heights.
Definitely.
Yeah. If you look up at a building, your body just.
Yeah. So like I get extreme vertigo, right? So, like if you've ever been at the top of Sears Tower, right? You've got the guardrail bar. It's all enclosed guardrail bar, and then 2 feet, and then plate glass. And if I'm not holding on to the bar,
you'll fall over.
Hands, I'll just drop right. I'll just.
And you summit at Everest or to base camp.
Yeah, but the same thing is if I'm at the bottom of the Sears Tower, and again, it's not just Sears Tower. It's just for reference, right? But if I'm at the bottom of the Sears Tower, just on the sidewalk and I'm straight up, I'll fall right.
Yeah,
right?
It's insane.
Yeah, it's really it's
insane that you do some of these trips.
Yeah, and I've seen specialists and there's weird ear crystals and
How long did it take to get to base camp? Like how long were you guys walking?
So, it was supposed to be 9 days up, 4.5 days down, right? And there was one particular bridge that we knew that we'd all have to cross, and it's called the Hillary Bridge, and it's. I don't know, man. It's 450 feet long, maybe 800 feet high.
It's just nothing below you.
Yeah. And, but it's got like 30-mile-an-hour winds, right? It's really crazy, right? And I'll never forget it. You got a second? I'll never forget because, I was in tears. It's a lot of anxiety, right? And I knew I had to cross it. And we had all these backup plans where, one of them was I brought my, because it's a 17-hour flight, right? And, I brought a sleep mask. And so I put that in my backpack then we would be crossing this bridge. I said, okay, worst case scenario. I just put on the blindfold or the sleep mask and just, trot with somebody across this ridiculous bridge, right? And, but so much anxiety, so much everything. And I've got, my whole team there is, yelling and rooting. And I'm just like, everybody, just shut up, right? So I walked away, again, tears on my face. And my relaxant is music, right? And so I put in, I can't believe it. All right. So I put in my earbuds and, I'm just listening to music. I'm trying to find something.
What are you
listening to? I just put it on random and I'm just like,
random,
something. And then one of my all-time favorite songs is Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones, right? And as soon as it kicked in, those deep bongo style drums, I was just like, I just completely locked in. I'm just like, all right, cool, I'm ready, right? And like my whole group was like, all right. And so we would start crossing. I know, right? It's happening.
It's happening.
And so we're going. I'm just like, because I know, like I can't, if I even glance down on either side, I'll lose.
You will literally fall.
And you couldn't really fall off.
I'm saying though, dude, that's going to be a pain in the ass. They got to drag your ass across. Like it's just going to be a nightmare, dude.
The amount of difficulty it would add to the situation if I dropped to all four on the middle of this bridge would have been nightmarish, right? And so all I'm doing is I'm staring at the Duder logo on my friend Ryan, his backpack in front of me.
So you didn't have your eyes closed. You're just
I just went for it, right? Okay. And I just I didn't move off that, right? And then we're just going. I'm just like, oh my god, is that this like it's working, right? And then unfortunately, right? No offense to Ed Sheeran, but I'm halfway through the bridge. And then it switched to this pump up song. And I'm like, yeah, all right, let's go to the slowest acoustic version.
It's like funeral music.
Oh my gosh.
you're like, oh my God, this is how it ends. I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I'm already dead. I fell off.
And what went through my head was like, I can't finish this bridge listening to this damn song, right? Because this is what I'll remember. And obviously I'm telling a story, so that's what happened. But literally I was thinking, I'm just like, okay, I've got my hiking poles in my hand as I'm crossing this bridge. I got all these crazy things going on. I'm just like, all right, do I just keep on plugging and listening to this song? Or do I reach up real quick and, double click my, little AirPods or whatever and, and switch to a different song. But anyway, I didn't. And so I finished the bridge and got done and I just breathed. And yes, I cried like a little girl. That's okay.
But that's cool though, dude. That's not like, most people that are scared of sharks stay out of the ocean. Mm-hmm. Most people that don't like big bugs won't go to Australia. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. Mm-hmm. But like, you're literally, I just think it's, whenever you go on those trips, I just kind of think it's cool because you're literally the thing that you're saying. I don't know if it's like, it is fear, right? Like you have fear of heights, but like you have like almost a medical condition with it. Oh, yeah, like you just can't control. Yeah. There's no overcoming it, right? Like there's no physically, it's
There's nothing
enabled, like genetically, you just can't overcome it, but you face that on, which is pretty cool.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
And those are some of the reasons why I like the trips that we do, right? That was extreme, right? But it's right there at those moments is where you find out more.
Yeah. Like I think if you go back to medieval times and we got swords, and I don't think like, those guys were running into battle like badasses, but I'm sure a lot of them were scared.
Yeah.
For their life, but they did it anyway because that's bravery, right? Like it's facing, and I think there's a lot of symbolism between that and then like starting a business, making big decisions, all that kind of stuff. Like in business, like it's not supposed to feel comfortable all the time. It's just not, dude. Like the shit is supposed to hurt.
Yep.
I think that's where all this stuff is supposed to hurt.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But it's about the payoff. It's like, what do you get out of that? Right. You know what I'm saying?
And once you once you callous yourself enough, you realize that most of these things, I mean, there's pain behind them, but like once you've seen enough, like you realize that, that's pain, but it's not much.
So what gets more extreme than Everest? Like, would you ever summit Everest? Like,
no. I have a deal with my wife that I'm not, what is it? I'm not allowed to.
Cause that's super. You could just die.
Well, no, it's, I'm not allowed to go someplace with a documented mortality rate. Right? No, but but people ask me that all the time. Well, you were so close. You were at about 18,000 feet, right? And
you're not that close though. It's a big difference.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's a huge difference between 18,000 and 26,000, right? But like that's the thing is I have zero interest in I would never, like under any circumstance, want to summit Everest, right? Because it's not, that's like, to me, that's much more of an adrenaline play, right? But like, like the year before we did Peru a couple of times. We did the Saucante trek and, it's, I don't know, 40, 50 miles through the Amazon jungle and the Saucante pass. And you see Humante Lake, Saucante Summit, Rainbow Mountain and Machu Picchu. And it's just gorgeous, right? Big buck, right? But it's just, it's not only the challenge of the hike, but it's meeting the people, right? There's nothing like meeting people in second and third world countries that like have so much less than we have. And like, I can't even describe how big their smiles are, how great their attitudes, just happy to be, right? And it's just, I come back, right, to your original question, right? What does it do for me, right? When I come back from some of my trips, it's just a huge exhale and like all that weight that I've been carrying, right? All the stresses and pressures every day, business ownership and just craziness, right? As you come back, you realize that like the vast majority of those things that like you really struggled with, like all these stressors and everything, realize like how, not they're not important, but how much lower on the totem pole of urgency and importance that they actually are, right? And so you come back and you look at your inbox and you're just like, nope.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as much as you thought it mattered.
Right.
Because you're like disconnected from it.
Exactly. So now when you left, you had 38 things, like decent sized problems you're trying to solve. And you realize, it's really full, right? And you're going to hand half of them.
And only one of them kills me. Like
right, exactly.
The other three, I won't die.
Right. Exactly. Right. And so to me, it really helps level set my mind and my mindset, my aptitude, everything for months. Right. And it's just like, people ask, my wife asks me still, but like, why do I do it? And it's really like, I'm not an athlete. Right. But what else can I go do that I can challenge myself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and
physically, right?
Physically,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just, so that's
cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. All right. Well, is there, I guess my last kind of question wrapping this thing up, if you could go back from what you know now, being 10 years deep in Drive, to our first day in the office.
Yeah.
Right. What would you tell us?
Sure. Phenomenal question, really. That's the first time that you've actually asked that question. I would have probably said, hey, listen, let's take time, right? And I'm not talking about 3-4 months, whichever. but let's really kind of plan out what, Alex or Mosey, with our definition of done, right? What, like, are we on the same page of what we see as the vision of when we're done with this? What does it look like, right? At least for year 1, 2,
I love that.
3, 4, right?
Clear goal to what we're working for.
Without a doubt.
Whether
right?
it's grow it and sell it or not, or whatever that looks like, just knowing this is what the payoff is.
Without a doubt. And that way, because if you have complete alignment, right? And this is what US taught both of us. You have complete alignment. Like, all the decisions are just byproducts of both of us sharing that same vision.
And just knowing what you're working towards, right? Hey, this is what it looks like, right? Whether it's a bag of money or it's just, hey, free time but good income or whatever that
positive impact on
whatever it is,
clients and your team, all that kind of stuff. And so that would have been the one thing, is really put together solid alignment and planning. Well, at least goal sets. We can, you can always figure out if you have enough drive and the vision is clear enough.
100%.
You'll always get there. It's just a matter of how much struggle.
Yeah, it's right people, right seats, and rip it, right? Cool, dude. All right, I'll see you for golf tomorrow. Yeah, all right. Thanks.
Cool.